Welcome back to One Supercell to Remember. Now, I wanted to bring in Zach, Josh, and Peyton into the weather lab to take us through their firsthand accounts on what they experienced. You already saw a glimpse of that. We knew what this storm was capable of. We saw the damage firsthand just a little bit, but, obviously it was a devastating storm. Zach, tell me about your experience.
Yeah, well, Dan, I was tracking those storms all day, and then they came in, and then that day turned into all night. And I've covered tornadoes before, but really nothing like this. We saw it weaken, and then it strengthened up again. It just kept producing. And then when the sun came up that morning, that damage, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it was incredible for sure. And you were there as the tornadoes were happening, Josh and Peyton. Take us through your firsthand accounts.
Yeah, I was along Highway 59 on the south side of Decatur where that anticyclonic tornado tore through that area. And the damage, it was just immense. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. I didn't even know it was a storage facility. It was just unrecognizable. I thought it was a community that was just wiped out. Didn't know if people were trapped under there. So it definitely was a heartbreaking scene to see that damage there in Decatur, but also to see the community come together immediately after the tornado went through.
Hey, can I have everybody's attention? Yes, sir. The storm is still bad out there, it's still blowing and a lot of rain coming down. You guys are welcome to stay here until it blows over. We're going to have somebody stay here, but we're going to have to go on out. We have damage being reported in Decatur, so we're going to go and see what we can do.
Definitely a heartbreaking scene, but also an inspiring one to see the community come together there.
And at the same time, this storm wasn't over.
Yes.
And Peyton, you were underneath the storm as it was producing another tornado in Rogers, which your reports were so vital and key. Take us through what you were experiencing.
Yeah, I was on my way to help out with relief efforts once I heard Josh say this is a search and rescue mission. I was headed out there, and I realized this storm was not through yet. It started to drop southeast and eventually went through Rogers, but I was right there at exit 86 and experiencing the damage firsthand in those insanely strong winds. It's like a hurricane. I've been through several growing up in Houston, so I experienced a lot of strong winds, but the damage was just devastating. Nothing like I had ever seen.
It was, and as the sun was rising, we were getting a better idea of the damage, so we're going to take you through the rest of One Supercell to Remember. We got a new video here. This really gives us an idea of the damage, even though it's in the middle of the night here. So we're going to bring this up. This is Frankie Shepard, one of our spotters. Look at this devastation. Oh my goodness. That gives you a real scope of the damage. Not just tree damage, structure damage, buildings destroyed. I don't exactly know the location of that, but we can see that devastation. All right, so we've got Josh Rugger, who is out there tracking storms, along with Casey, one of our reporters. And so, guys, tell us the scene out there, and first of all, tell us where you're at right now.
Yeah, Dan, we're along Highway 59 here in Decatur. You look out and you see there used to be a storage unit, and right behind us, there's just nothing but piles and piles of just twisted metal, trees, all sorts of other ways. This is a light pole right here. I'm here with Josh Rugger, who was out chasing this storm and saw this storm. Josh, just describe for the people sitting at home, what'd you see?
Yeah, this was definitely a devastating storm. You could tell it was a strong tornado on radar. You could tell that it was going to cause damage once it ramped up as it crossed the Oklahoma-Arkansas border. And, I was driving along Highway 59 trying to get a visual of the storm. And once that lightning flash happened, once that power flash happened, it was like a strobe effect, right? It was just one power flash after another. We talked to a gentleman who was right by one of those power flashes as well. And that's when I knew that it was causing pretty widespread damage in Decatur. And of course, I've been out here all morning long assessing this damage, talking to the folks here. And so far, just really happy to report that all the people that we've talked to, that they're okay, that they're safe. That's the most important thing when it comes to something like this. But just destructive damage here in Decatur for sure.
Here's a dog coming up here. I don't know whose dog this may be right here, drinking out of this water, which this is really chilling, seeing sort of this stream right here from where the heavy rainfall kind of came down. And now it almost looks like a peaceful stream. It's just very sobering just how destructive this was just a few hours ago.
Let's go to Josh Harvison, our news director. He's located in the Rogers area. And Josh, you got a report for us right now.
Yeah, Dan, thanks for everything you guys have done all night. And of course, this is going to be several days worth of coverage. Now, hopefully you guys can see what I'm seeing, but this is Furniture for Less building. And entire top side of the building just looks like it's been pushed this direction. You can see a bunch of mangled metal all over the place. I saw a caster right here, which is obviously something small, but the further you go down Walnut Street, you see an image. You guys showed an image of an RV that was overturned. That is here between here and the Planet Fitness that is just down the road. There's an Andy's Frozen Custard just down the road. I have the AT&T store here. And of course, as the sun starts to rise, we're going to be able to see a lot more. I also smell gas. And as a matter of fact, I'm probably too close to it, but that looks like that's a gas line. And I can hear it. You can hear the fizz of the gas as it's coming out.
Some of these images we're seeing as the sun comes up is just tragic, really. Buildings, homes, and businesses that have been in this community for years, decades even, destroyed. If you navigate town by using landmarks, things will look different. The landscape out there looks very different. At 7 a.m., we will get that update from first responders. We're not sure exactly what we're going to hear. And at this point, from our contact with emergency personnel, a lot of them are still learning exactly what has happened overnight, because as the sun comes up, they're learning more and more.
At this time, we have several injuries, and tragically, we have one confirmed fatality on the east side of the county. We also have multiple law enforcement, fire, and EMS agencies responding across the county on search and rescue and other life safety missions.
Got some new video here. This is brand new coming in from Charles Peak. And there you see the roof that's damaged, several areas that are ripped off, buildings that are destroyed. But this gives you an idea as that light is out, so you can kind of see a little bit more of that damage. You see this in Oklahoma. You see this devastation and tornado outbreaks. And you just think this would never happen in back in your town.
And we see that video, Dan.
Yeah.
That's someone's business.
I know.
So they're gonna
Their livelihood.
they're not gonna have a place to go to work on Monday.
We got an alarm go off on our phone about 2 o'clock in the morning.
We seen that there was a possibility of tornado activity.
It was scary. It was loud and scary.
It had the heavy rain, hail, and then the wind, and then you hear a freight train right after the power went.
It sounded like a train was going through here.
Just a loud noise. I can't really pinpoint it.
The wind was blowing extremely hard, and then it calmed way down. And then all of a sudden, it came up.
It was just a little chaotic seeing all the power lines come down and all the lights flashing blue. It was just a lot for me, and I've never experienced something like that living here for the past 23 years.
You know, I figured we were going to be gone, but it left us sitting and standing right there in the hallway.
Just total destruction. Buildings that used to be there are totally gone. Nothing left of them, just like what you see behind me. They're totally gone.
As you pull up here, you know, in the dark, glass everywhere, walls down. They didn't know what was going on or what happened. All they knew is they got to the truck and their home was gone. You know, 16, 17 years of memories just gone.
We come out and seen all the damage outside, and it was dumbfounding. I don't think Roger's been hit by one this hard in a long time.
This one was just different, you know, it was stronger, obviously.
So sad seeing the neighborhood just demolished the way it is.